Today I'm in Thorpe Park and it's the first weekend open to everyone. They had a kind of soft opening last weekend for pass holder only, but this is like the big bang. It's Sunday. Yesterday was a lovely sunny day and it was kind of busy. Today it's the glorious British weather, so probably it's gonna be a bit less crowded. I'm in front of a closed tidal wave. Now nothing's going on here, but you can see the amazing swarm on the background. Now today the video is gonna be different because at the end of the day
everybody's so creative.
so I decided not to do the usual vlog because I've been in this park already lots of times, and if you want to find the usual review with top and flops, just feel free to watch it on my channel. Today I wanted actually to just focus on what is going on for this season 2023 because there are some rides closed like Colossus and the Ghost Train, and also go and have a look at the building site of Exodus, the new 2024 hypercoaster. Also based on the live queue times of yesterday, I wanted to check how the park is coping with a big coaster being currently closed, and if the queues are getting longer and longer because there is one coaster less in the offering, or if it's just down to Merlin really slow operations. So we're gonna do a little scientific exercise. I'm gonna take actual dispatch timings on the major attractions, and we're gonna check it against the official potential maximum capacity per hour declared by the coaster manufacturers. So all of this is going to be interesting. This is coming in today's video just to give it a different angle, and I'm going to do all these timings and let's see what comes out. But first of all, let's see what changed in the offering in 2023 at Thorpe Park. Here you see the building site of a new hypercoaster coming in 2024 in Thorpe Park, Project Exodus. Thorpe Park hasn't released much around the theming or the name. Everyone hopes that it's gonna stay Exodus because it's a lovely name. And regarding theming, I'm not expecting much because at the end of the day, hypercoaster are usually not themed at all. If you think about Hyperion in Energylandia or Shambhala or even Silver Star, we might do a bit of theming in the station, but apart from that, I'm not expecting anything major. I've taken the piece of this coaster quite a lot, and if you wanna watch, there are lots of videos in my sub channel Confused, and I publish lots of reels because of course Merlin is seeking for a marketing claim, so it ended up being the UK tallest coaster, which doesn't mean anything because it's not anyway the tallest coaster in the world. Of course it's not the tallest coaster in Europe, not even close, but it's not even the tallest hypercoaster in Europe, so it just doesn't make any sense. And here is the Exodus building site. Not much going on, to be honest. They're clearly working. This is gonna be the new Mack hypercoaster. I made lots of fun of this coaster because it's gonna be like the tallest but in UK, or the tallest in the world but made by Mack, whatever. I have to say that actually this coaster is kind of growing now because Mack released the POV, which I'm gonna put somewhere down here, left or right, I don't know yet. And despite being against this kind of POVs being released far too early, and Mack it's a really big offender on this because they've done the same thing with Voltron. They release POVs of the ride, giving it all away 1 year before the opening date, which I think is far too much. But anyway, the track doesn't look as short as expected, and it's gonna have these water features same as Shambhala in Portaventura. So I think this one has got potential to be a really nice addition, and is definitely in line with the trail themed and thrill seeker target of Thorpe Park. I'm here in front of Colossus, that clearly looks a bit different this year. It's going under retracking. Lots of concern about this retracking because Merlin appointed not interim manufacturer but a third party. And this happened already in another coaster, which was Magic Mountain, now called Shaman, in Gardaland, and the retracking went completely wrong. There is now a transition where you are gonna break your neck, basically. The problem with this one is that also they came with a track and it didn't fit, and apparently they are removing pieces of track and trying to replicate them, which is a bit scary. Also, Thorpe Park confirmed that the trains and the restraints are gonna be identical, which is a missed opportunity because the train are outdated and the restraints are really painful, and it could have been a good opportunity to create a brand new coaster using the new trains as in Cinecittà World in Rome and the new SIC in Flamingoland. Unfortunately, this is not gonna happen, so not lots of hopes for this retrack, to be honest, but let's see. The other thing of this retracking is it didn't get all the fuss that Nemesis had. Nemesis in Alton Towers is going under retracking now, and they spend a fortune in marketing to promote not opening a ride but closing it, which was kind of unusual. This one was meant to be open, but then something clearly went wrong with retracking. So both Thorpe Park and Alton Towers are gonna be one coaster down for the 2023 season, which of course is gonna stress all the other coasters, and that's why today we are measuring the capacity of the park. Another thing, I'm not sure about that. If you know, please leave it in the comment down below. I'm not really sure why Merlin decided to do the retracking in both Alton Towers and Thorpe Park in 2023, because this is removing one main coaster from their lineup, and considering that both parks are going to receive a brand new coaster in 2024, it's just bad timing. They should have done the retracking in 2024. Unless there was a kind of expiry date before the retracking was due and mandatory, could not be postponed. Otherwise, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because they could have balanced the offer, opening a new coaster in 2024 and closing temporarily for retracking in the same park another coaster. But if you know more, please leave it in the comments down below. The track layout now looks like the one you do in Planet Coaster to kill as many people as possible, and I think they might change the name of the coaster from Colossus to Mind the Gap. And here we are at the old Darren Brown Ghost Train, which is currently being re-themed. Well, as we know, the IP with Darren Brown ended, and he wasn't really proud of this creation, so he really wanted his name to be removed. To be honest, that ride, 11 million, nearly half an hour experience, completely pointless, a waste of time, a waste of money. I've done it just once, but when I came out of it, it was like, what just happened? But not in a positive way, let's say. So this is gonna open later this year, and is gonna be re-themed, where is they're gonna remove the VR. And this is going to be really interesting, because currently the VR was really poor, was really like pathetic, but it was a good 50% of the experience was based on VR. So it's going to be interesting to see how they reteam this attraction, and how it's going to look like opening spring 23. Here is Nemesis, that this year has really got the opportunity to shine, being the only B&M inverted coaster open in UK, because the real Nemesis, the beloved Nemesis in Alton Towers, is currently closed for retracking. I'm gonna measure here as well the capacity of guests per hour. The methodology is pretty simple. Basically, I'm gonna measure how much time in between two trains going on the same part of the track. I'm gonna do 5 measures. So we can, factor in some delays that might occur, and that is going to give us the real capacity that Thorpe Park is using on that ride. Currently, Nemesis is running 2 trains. Measurement of Nemesis have been pretty consistent, around 2 minutes to dispatch a train, as this, compared to the official capacity, gives us a load factor of 73%. Not bad at all. Nemesis has been running smoothly all day long, no downtime at all, and we have to keep in mind as well that there is no an off-boarding station, and you got the lockers in the station. So this is slowing down operations. So given that, not a bad result at all for Nemesis Inferno. So this is Stealth, an Intamin launched coaster, really tall. And let's go and have a look at how quick operations are. Here again, the measurements have been pretty consistent, around 1 minute and a half, and considering that the official capacity is 1,000, this return a real capacity of 750, with a good 75% load factor. Also, there was no downtime, which is kind of unusual for this type of coaster, and it's worth noticing that in this coaster there is an onboarding and offboarding station, so they are separate, and also the lockers are out of the station, therefore whoever is on the platform, it's in theory ready to board, and this is clearly making operation quicker than in other coasters in Thorpe Park. And here we go, so the ride, a really nice Gerslauer. There you go. Teamed after the movie, it's got an amazing teaming in the station, and it's a really nice coaster. I love it. I think probably it's the best coaster in Thorpe Park. Thorpe Park has always been struggling with this coaster in terms of operations and capacity, and they not always use all the train they've got. Currently it's saying 1 hour queue, so let's gonna have a look about the capacity of this coaster. So first of all, the trains are usually dispatched in pairs, so you will see the numbers don't make any sense because we dispatch 2 trains every time. But they've been struggling. The capacity should be 1,000. In reality, it was only 360 guests per hour, load factor 36%. Embarrassing. It doesn't surprise that this ride is always the one with the longest queue in the whole park. I suspect that they revised the operation after the Smiler accident in 2015, so probably they are even slower than usual. But you can see operators being on the phone, the train be ready to be boarded, but the gates are still closed, and even when the train gets to the off-boarding station, they keep the train there forever. It's been a really a pain to watch. And this one is the Swarm, currently the only wing coaster in UK until they open the one in Chessington, World of Jumanji. After that, it would be only the best wing coaster in UK, given that the other one is gonna be like, well, whatever it's gonna be, right? But this one is a really nice implementation of a B&M wing coaster. I think it's much superior to the prototype, which is in Italy in Gardaland. It's called Raptor, because it's got the amazing inversion at the end of the chain lift, and also near miss are really a thing. This morning was running particularly slow, now as well, because there are no trains at all, but it was taking a good 3-4 minutes to dispatch a bloody train, so quite embarrassing. I'm gonna anyway measure it now, so we're gonna see what is the real hour capacity of this coaster. As I said, the Swarm has been struggling all day long. It's currently closed. Funnily enough, the soundtrack going on now, it's The End of the World. It is. the end of the swarm, at least. Now, for the swarm, I'm gonna use this footage that is 3 minutes long, and you're not gonna see a train being dispatched in this time frame, which is pretty embarrassing. I have to say that during the visit, the swarm has been struggling big times. The downtime, so closed around 35% of the time, but when it was open, operations were really slow. Clearly, the ride itself was struggling. There were more than one opportunity in which it took 3-4 minutes to dispatch a train. Then there were continuous breakdown. The ride was not officially closed, so this is not reflected in the downtime, but lots of people had to wait an eternity in the station before trains were getting dispatched. As I said, I managed to do the 5 measurement, and it was when the ride restarted after being closed for hours. And those measurements were pretty good. Compared to the maximum capacity, we have a loading factor of 85%, which is actually the highest recorded during this exercise. But in reality, I can tell that the load factor during the day of the swarm was far below 50%. Clearly, there were mechanical and technical issues. Someone said that it was due to the wind, which I'm not sure. But generally speaking, it's still annoying, especially because this one was the opening weekend after the winter break. So you would expect all the major winter maintenance being carried out. And so you would not expect the coaster to have so many mechanical and technical issues. So not really ideal, really a pain again to watch and to ride. The swarm during my visit has been a delicate flower, being more closed than open, which is a real pity because the ride itself it's amazing, but it is what it is. And I've decided to add in this measurement also a rush. I wasn't planning to have flat rides because it's hard to find the potential capacity declared by the manufacturer, also because they can ride with different patterns. So you might have like a long ride or a short ride, so it's not really granted. But I decided to add rush because the first thing I managed to find the declared capacity of this ride, and also because it's a massive SNS flat ride, considered one of the best flat rides in UK. I wouldn't say in Europe because that is Talocan and it's in Fantasyland, but it's a really good ride, and usually gets when the park is busy, gets pretty busy as well. So I think it makes sense to put this one as well in the calculation of the capacity. The rush today is so slow, it's literally taking an eternity in between cycles, so I've decided to measure while eating. So measurements done, operation were embarrassingly slow, and these returned a load factor of 43% bad. So the outcome, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I would say the major coaster, they actually perform well, and Thorpe Park is kind of squeezing out as much as they can of the coaster capacity. That doesn't apply to Solver Ride, which we're clearly struggling to operate, but all the others, and I would include also the Swarm, considering that today probably was an unlucky day, it was a bad day. But generally speaking, when they operate the rides, assuming they're open and functioning, they do a decent job. As I said, this does not apply to Solver Ride and not even to Rush, which is the only flat ride that I measured. So, if Thorpe Park is having long waiting times, long queue, never-ending queues, especially during the weekends, there is not much they can do. It's just a matter of the offer is not enough, especially now that Colossus is closed. They could potentially implement some measures. For example, the locker system of stealth is really good and speeds up operation a lot. I would even love to see a separate locker system and mandatory, same as Energylandia, which is super efficient. Other things to report, Nemesis Inferno lost the flame and the smoke effect, so now we can call it Nemesis. And then Thorpe Park keeps delivering in terms of parade, in terms of shows, and all these lovely things that nobody really care. I've never seen such an embarrassing moment in which they are performing on stage in front of literally no one. That's really bad. Just out of Walking Dead, and yeah, I know, right? No one likes it, but I found it in a really good shape. The pre-show is working, all the teaming and effects are working, and there were even actors at the exit. So there you go. And here we go, end of the day at Thorpe Park and end of the video. So if you like the video, please subscribe.